Okay everyone, you know what time it is. It's time for another video. I've got the usual on my desk. I've got my thinned out gesso. I got the heavy gesso. We're going to use this for modeling paste today. I've got my matte medium. And I've got my clear gesso, you know, the mediums of choice. And then I've got some things here. I've got the card. My watercolors, again sticking with the Rembrandt. Probably going to be using those for any watercolor choice I grab for. I do want to use that. Oh, and I am going to use some pastels today. I think I like them. I haven't used them in weeks. In the other video, the last video I did, I think I showed you this flower that I did. It's just a random, just, you know, a loose flower, nothing fancy. And I also had this stencil pulled out. So I think I'm going to use these. Oh, actually, I don't think I know I'm going to use these. I got some book text. And then what I've got here is I've got a moth or a butterfly that I'm going to fussy cut. And then I've got some of my homemade paper. I think I used this in video 1 or 2. It's just, it's B tracing paper. It's nice and crinkly. So ASMR moment there for you. And I use inks on it. I use it for jelly printing, slap and dragon. I use it, you know, for putting magicals on, acrylic inks, anything like that. And so I just pulled one out that just is really kind of mundane, because I'm going to put some color on it with the watercolor. So I'm going to clear that up and use that to adhere down pieces of that. So I'm going to go away. I'm going to fussy cut this. I'm going to figure out the color of the pastel I want to use. And I'm also going to get the papers ready for adhering. So I'm going to tear those up. And then I'll come back. And then we'll get started. Okay? I'll see you in a minute. Okie doke, I am back and I am ready to get started. I have my bits of paper here. I have my moth fussy cut, and I'm just gonna get started. And what shall we chat about this time? Well, I still have family in the background. My kids live with me, so you might still hear a noise. See. Oh, did you see in the last video I linked for you? I think I linked the playlist to my live streams. So if you've not checked out my live streams, you might want to. We have a lot of fun, and we joke around, and I do a lot of different projects that I don't have time to do here in the short videos. So if you're looking for inspiration, that might be something you want to check out. Yeah, and I also I believe I linked for you the first video in this series. In case you're just coming upon this video, this is a series. This is episode number 5, and I will try to link, again, remember to link videos again to the earlier parts of the series, so you can go back and catch up. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun. Those that are following along, and I encourage everybody to follow along with whatever products they have and whatever, that you like to work with. Just, create with me. When I create, usually, if I'm not doing a video for you guys, I'm usually playing a stream in the background. or I'm editing one of my own videos or streams or whatever. So I like to have art going on all the time. I love being an artist, and I love listening to fellow artists, and I go back and I review my own so I can make sure I hit on anything, or if I promise something I try to deliver, or if I miss something that I wanted to touch base on, I try to make sure that I you know, so I go back and I listen to my own streams. I know that's probably odd, but I like to make sure that I'm getting because I don't always, like, especially in the live streams, so I don't always catch the content, everything that's chatted about. So I like to go back and make sure, you know, I'm getting what everybody's telling me, you know, because I can't always catch it when I'm live, unless they put it in chat. But so sometimes I miss the conversations that are going on. So sometimes I'll, you know, mention something, and so that'll be something I have to touch upon on a later stream. So, but I always like to have something, you know, some sort of stream or something going on in the background. So create with me. It'll be fun, you know. Yeah, just create with me. Pull out, you know, something easy, even if it's a coloring book and that's your thing, you know. Maybe you're coloring a page and you can, I know a lot of artists that will, you know, color in a coloring book, and then they'll fussy cut out their image or portions of the image and use it in their art journal. So don't be afraid to use those coloring book images in your art journal. Now, you can't use it in pieces that you're going to sell because it's copyrighted, but, you know, if you're just doing a journal page, yeah, you can use it, you know, because it's something that's for you, not something you're going to sell. So yeah, I encourage you to, you know, get a coloring book page out and just create with me. You know, it's nice to have company, at least for me anyway. Sometimes it's odd for me sitting here talking to myself, although I'm talking to you, and I love talking to you guys. But it's different talking in a video versus talking in the live shows. Because in the live shows I have interaction, you know, so it's a little bit odd for me. Now let's see, I'm just trying to decide what I want to do with this this piece. I'm going to tear it here. Let's see. What else can we chat about? Let's see. Oh, exciting news. So, guess who has been, she has come to my streams a couple times now, and I totally feel super honored. I just cannot believe it. Quite excited that she has come to my streams. But and if you're not subscribed to her, go and subscribe. She is awesome. She's fun. She's fun to follow along with. You'll learn a lot from her as well. She inspired me long ago, and I still watch all her videos all the time now. Is Marimi Small Art, Marta. And she does mostly regular chatty videos, so they're great, and she just has a wonderful personality, and she's just great to art with. So if you have a chance and you haven't followed her, go and subscribe. Yeah, she is just a wonderful, and she has a Facebook group, so yeah, go and look us up on Facebook. Marimi's Creative Cafe. It's a wonderful group of people. Somebody's always got something to share. And yeah, so I was quite excited. I could not believe it when she first popped into my stream. I was like, oh my goodness. I was shocked and surprised all at the same time. So yeah. All right, so I put that down. Now the oil pastels are, these are the iridescents. So I don't want to put anything matte on top of them. I want them to be on the layer before I get ready to put on the color. They're really nice because they resist the watercolor and their shine will come up through. So if I want to put down clear gesso, I have to remember to do that before I put the oil pastels down. So I don't know if I want to whitewash this at all. Do I want to whitewash it? Do we want to whitewash it? I don't know. Let's see. Maybe just a little bit. And I think I'm going to do it the same way I did it on the last video. I'm not going to do a full whitewash. I'm just going to do a little bit of dry brushing. Since this is kind of wet already, just going to put just kind of, yeah, come through here. Just put a little bit, yeah, like that. So it's kind of, just so it kind of makes it cohesive. Yeah. So I'm not covering it. I'm not covering up my color in the paper I put down. I'm just I'm blending in the edges, making it cohesive. Yeah. That's good. Okay, so now that we've got that, get the rest of it off my brush. Why waste? Don't waste. We pay good money for these art supplies. There's no need to waste. All right, so I'm going to go away and I'm going to dry this. I am going to put a coat of this on and dry that. Okay, so I'm going to dry this. I'm going to put a coat of this on and dry that. And then I will come back to you and we will put on the oil pastels and the gesso through a stencil, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So I will see you guys in just. Okay, so I did the steps that I told you that I was going to do. I dried that layer, and then I added the clear gesso, and then I dried that. And now I'm kind of thinking, how do I want to do my focal points? I'm going to leave these as raised texture. That's what this one, this is going to be combining embedded texture, which was our background, and, you know, embedded collage and raised collage. And I think that's a good thing to learn. You know, there's nothing wrong with having artwork where the collage is not always completely embedded to the page. So I'm kind of getting an idea. Again, I always art intuitively. I really don't plan. I may pick an element that I want to start with, or I may have a color combination that I want to work with, or something like that, but I never really plan. I like to be intuitive. And that's why I just pull papers and I start ripping papers and, you know, just different things you'll see me do, because that's just the way I like to work. But if you like to plan, you go right ahead, plan. You can still follow along with me. Pull what you want to work with, plan your piece, and then just do the steps that I'm doing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So these are, in case you haven't caught the first or second videos of the series, or have not seen the lives, these are Sennelier oil pastels, and they are my favorite oil pastels. They're not water soluble, but they are super creamy, and they provide a good resist to watercolor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit down in places, and I'm probably going to smear it a little bit to kind of get a nice hazy effect. So because we got a little bit of pink and red in here, and we've got a little bit of I got a little bit of a reddish brownish pink here in the flowers. I kind of want to add to that. And look, even the moth has a little bit of pink and red into it. I don't know. Let me pull that up to the camera so you can see that. So I kind of want to play off that because we got the greens here, and I want to kind of bring in a little bit of red. So what I'm going to do is just kind of bring in a little bit of that red that's in this, and just smear it out a little bit. And then in some places I'll make it real dark and creamy. Kind of maybe go along the edges of the paper here. See kind of what comes out. Again, I don't plan. I'm just kind of going along what I'm feeling here, and then I might do something like that. So it's kind of, I like to scribble with these, then just kind of fade out the edges, so I still get a nice rich color in the middle. See how nice and creamy that is. Yeah, and then we're still going to put our gesso, our stenciling here. Nice and rich and creamy and just oh so nice. And I'm going to turn this down because I want to really bring in some of this red on this side. I don't know why. Again, I'm just doing. I don't know why. It just is. It's telling me that that's where it wants to go. And just in a few places, not all over. I just kind of want to bring out some of the color that I'm seeing in here. So see, that's going to be really nice, because I'm thinking the flower is going to go on this side, and then I'll put the moth maybe over on this side. And so now that I'm looking at it, we'll get some stenciling here and some stenciling here a little bit, and maybe this needs, see here now I'm seeing that this needs some, and then maybe we'll bring in a little bit of black, right? I'll bring in my charcoal pencil or something like that at the end for some contrast. Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty page. All right, so I think, am I done? Do I feel like I'm done? I don't know. Sometimes I look at my page and I think that I say to myself, though, you want to go in odds. Now I know my elements are 2. And usually 2 isn't a good number, but the way I'm seeing this, the background is kind of the 3rd element in this way. For me, I'm seeing it as that's a 3rd element with the stenciling. I mean, I could always put, you know, this connected to it, but I'm seeing that it's okay because of the way the background is kind of its own element, so it's like a 3rd element to me. And I don't know if that makes sense, because usually when you're designing your page, you want to design in 3rds, but for some reason I'm feeling even with this spread this way, and I don't know if that's because of the way I'm feeling the background is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you know, you'll look at it and say, well, it's imbalanced. It's not balanced. Maybe it needs another butterfly or something, or another moth or something. And maybe you're right. But if I take away and I don't have anything on this side, I feel unbalanced. And maybe I'll feel differently once I put the modeling paste on, or the gesso, the heavy gesso in this case. But I think that's cute. I like that, but I still like the moth pointing this way. Don't know why, but I do. So that's it for the the oil pastel. And there really is no rules, you know. A lot of people say, well, this is the rule of that, this is the rule of that. I mean, there are some things that, you know, like the rule of thirds, or the rule of, you know, you should have, you know, do everything in threes. You know, those are things that, and that's for composition wise, it makes sense, and usually that's the case. But again, for me, having this on there, that looks balanced to me. And maybe I'll put a little quote down here. You know, that's just the way I see it. Maybe I'm wrong, you know. But now, so this is the way we're going to go with this page. Now I got to decide how I'm going to do the stencil. I do know I am going to use this stencil. I really like this stencil for this page. So I think I'm going to do those three up there in that corner. And I'm going to start with that. So, and there's no drying. You don't have to dry the oil pastels. They never really dry anyway because they're oil. You don't have to wait for that. So I'm just going to get some gesso out here. Take that away. These the stencils I've used in this video and the other video. These new ones that I've showed you. These are all stencils from Stencil Girl. If you've not, again, if you didn't make it to the live and see my haul video. So that's where I got these, if you're wondering. Okay. I can always get a white, but that's okay. That little bit of white is fine. Okay, now let's see. This is going to go here. And the moth is going to go there. Okay. I want to get a full one of these on here. So that might be where I do it this way. Yeah, I think I will. So I'm going to put this back down here like this. And there we go. And then we pray that I didn't mess it up. Then it comes out really, oh, that's good. Okay. And that's okay that it's got that little thing there. I kind of like that. Though it's not, it wasn't planned, I like it. I'm going to leave that there. And then I think, let's see. Now this I am going to do in thirds. Let's take off our moth so I don't mess it up. I think ooh, I think I'm going to point them this way. This will change it up a little bit, actually. Let's just put 2. How about we do that? Two. And that way we'll have a nice, well, 2.5. That's fine. Okay. And then our stencil here, and I'm just gonna do like that. Just little touches, little touches. So be like a garden or something. There. I think that's good. Okay. All right, so scrape this off. All right, so I'm gonna go away. I'm going to dry this, clean up my mess here, because I did make a mess on this one, and then I'll come back, okay? Okay, so I'm back, and we are ready to do the coloring. I've got my spray bottle, I've got my rinse cup. I think for this, for the coloring, I'm going to use a yellow. I'm going to use gamboge. If you don't have gamboge, or if you're following along, in any medium, I guess, I'm using a bright yellow, like a lemon yellow. That's the colors that I'm going with. A really bright yellow and then a dark green. Let's see how that goes. Could be a complete fail. But I like gamboge. Pretty much any set. This one's a little bit on the lighter side. It's more lemony than it is gamboge is usually cross between like a lemon yellow and a cadmium deep. It's just a really pretty yellow. This one is more of a lemony yellow, so that's why I'm telling you to look at it that way. Okay, so go ahead and spray. I'm just going to drop in. And just kind of hold it up a little bit. Maybe we'll spray it a little bit, get some drips going. How about that? I like to do drips. I'm not much of a splatter girl, but I do like drips. If you're following me on the lives, you know that that's my thing. I don't do drips. I'm very much like, or I don't do splatters. I very much like my drips. That's, yeah. I'm just getting a dark green here. There we go. And I'm just going to put drops of that in places. Again, kind of just let that drip in. Oh, maybe I should bring you down, right? So you can see what I'm doing. Let's just zoom you in here. I always forget to do that. I have this fancy new setup, and I don't always bring you down. timely. I bring you down. I just don't always bring you down timely. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to the yellow. And you can see right here how I put it over the oil pastel and it just kind of resists it. That is so lovely. So see here when I'm coloring over it. Oops, got green in the brush, which is okay, actually. That's fine. It's gonna mix, it's fine. I like how the yellow, when it plays off the red, that's really actually pretty. So I'm not gonna put, what was I gonna do here? Let's see. I want to bring out, I want to leave some of the white in there. Again, mind what's going on in your paper. Let's take my brush. And again, just kind of might be drippy. I don't know if you guys are catching all of this, but and then now I'll come back with dark green and drop that in places. Spray it if I want it to move. Let it mix and mingle a little bit. Okay. Yeah, liking that. I don't even know if you guys are down far enough. Maybe I need to come down a little bit more because I think you're just not getting. Okay, can't tell. Sometimes it looks really good on the recording. I mean, it looks better on the recording than it does here when I'm doing the recording. If that makes any sense. I just want to make sure you guys are getting to see this. And sometimes I can't tell just by looking in the camera. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to come around the corner here, just like around my, do my corners. Okay, so now I'm going to go do the other side. Okay, come back over here a little bit, so I'm in shot. Better to be in shot than out, right? Okay. Okay. Dab up a little bit. It's very vibrant. That's okay. Some of it's going to get covered up by the elements we're going to put on it, so I'm not too worried. And why not have a vibrant garden, right? Never be afraid of your color. The worst thing that can happen is if you don't like it and you find something else. You know, you start over. It's just a piece. You know, this is just a card. You know, there's nothing wrong with, you know. That's another reason why I started this Chronicles series. To, you know, it's just a little card. Don't be afraid. You know, we're just doing a little card. The worst thing you got to do is you throw it out and you take another one from the stack. Remember, these are old cards that weren't going to be used for anything else. Why not use them to paint on a little bit, you know? And I'm not going to put a lot of green in this corner, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, I don't even know if you can see it with the camera, but it's there. Just barely kissing the edge of the paper. Okay, now, I'm not going to put this on there yet, but I just want to see. Oh, yeah, I like that. But I think maybe this bottom needs a little more. Let's see. Should need a little more. Am I missing a color? Got a little bit of blue here. Maybe that's what it needs. No, not blue. I want it to look like Christmas, right? And then I'm gonna set this down because it's wet yet, but oh, I'm gonna like that. Maybe it needs a. Oh, I know what it needs. All right, so now we're going to bring in a dark. That's what we need to do. I need to bring in a dark, so I have a little bit of green left in my palette that not been used yet, so I'm going to bring a brown into that. When you're using watercolors, it's always good to use the same colors you've been using. Instead of introducing a whole new color. So in this case, I am using a new color that I haven't used on the palette yet, but I'm also mixing it with the green that I had, because it'll make the painting more harmonious because you've incorporated the same colors. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So I think I'm gonna start up here. And I'm just going to see what this does. Just a little bit down here because these are and this brown may not make sense to you, but it may once it's dry. It's going to give contrast. And then I'm going to dab it up a little bit. It's not, yeah, I didn't like that. When it mixed, I didn't like it. So, go back to the drawing board. I started to like it, but then as soon as I said it may not make sense to you, I did not like it. So, let me think about this a minute. Let me see this. See, sometimes even I have to say, even I second guess myself. It needs something. I know it does. Let's see. I do think it needs a dark, but I am going to, you're probably screaming at me what you think it needs. Maybe it just needs, maybe it does need, let's just see. Let's just see. I just don't want it to look like a Christmas tree. Let's see. Yeah, maybe that's what it needs. A little bit of the red in the middle of these, whatever these are, these flower pods. Just to give a little contrast in the yellow and the green. Yeah. Now I'm gonna audition my moth again. Nope, not liking that either. Like the moth. Maybe it just needs more yellow. Ooh, I like it dabbed. Maybe it's just too dark. Then the white's too white. Maybe I should have used a colored paste on this one. What do you guys think? Let's see. Well, let's go back to the yellow. Maybe that's just it. Maybe it just needs more yellow. Maybe I just didn't put enough yellow in there. Let's see here. Ooh, don't wanna ruin that. And then tap up just a little bit. Okay. And then let's just make these not as white. Let's see. When all else fails, I drip. I like this. I'm missing something. It's probably the dark is what I'm missing. Okay. That's kind of good. I kind of like that. See? All else fails, you drip. You drip, then you dip. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to bring in a dark around the edges. So let's do that. Real dark. And okay. Let me dry this quick second. be enough for that. Let's, I'm going to do my edges now. And this is a mix of the green and Payne's Gray. Now you could also use neutral tint. This is going to give us a dark around the edges. It's going to give us a little bit of contrast. That's going to kind of offset all that brightness that's going on. So it's not so bright. This is where I usually get quiet in my work because I just tend to get quiet and concentrate on getting the right spread, if you will. Again, I like seeing the watercolor stains in the piece. Okay, so that's looking good. Now, I know it's not going to stick over here where the oil pastel is, and that's quite okay. I don't want it to. It's part of the purpose. So I'm just going to go ahead and avoid that spot. Coming around. Okay. I love how the paper wrinkles, it gives texture. Okay. And I'm going to skip a little spot. Just really come into the corner here. And then come back up where just until the oil pastel comes into play again. So my border is not completely all the way around, but and then come down and make the pigment dance. Then, let's see, if I feel it's too, need some, it's too square or too something, I'll come in and wash it out a little bit. There. Okay. Come in here and do this part. I always look for the spots I don't like towards the end. Okay, there we go. All right, so now let's dry this really quick. We're at the 46-minute mark. I was hoping this one would be a really fast one. Okay, so I'm going to quickly dry this, and I will be right back. Okay, good. I'm recording. I had to, it didn't look like it was turned on there for a second. And I didn't want you guys to miss the last part. Okay, so this is all dry now. And what I'm going to do is, I thought I was going to glue these all the way down. But I think I don't have my hot glue gun plugged in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some tacky glue. This just happens to be the Scotch brand. It just happens to be in my desk, so I just grabbed it quickly. But I am going to, actually, I want it to go like that. Yes, yes, that is, yes, I like that. So that's what we're going to do. And I am going to be done after that. Since I'm not adhering these flat to the, you know, completely, oh crud, completely adhering these flat to the project, you know, melding them into the background. There's not going to be I'm not going to do a lot of shading. These normally, these would be adhered down, and I would do some shading, but I'm going to leave these propped up. I'm not going to put these into the piece. This is just going to be a quick, you know, like I said, if I have hot glue, I'd probably use that. But I'm just going to use a quick little bit of tacky glue here. I mean, we're just using scraps, right? This is had a piece of paper, a scrap piece of paper with a moth on it, and a scrap piece of paper with flour on it. Loose and free flour on it from something the other day. And there we go. Yeah, I like that. So there you go. And then once it's dry, I will come in probably with a little bit of shading later. I don't know. We'll see. I think it kind of. Let me back out just a little bit so you guys can see it here. That's my grandkids out there in the hallway, being all loud and obnoxious. So yeah, I like that. It does need some shading, I think. I don't know. We'll see once it's fully dried. The problem is these are not completely flat to the project, so they're dimensional. So you know, it's kind of hard to go around and shade them. I find it doesn't look natural to shade them when they're dimensional. That's just me. I do see I am going to have to bend that flower leaf, or the leaf of the flower rather. So it goes into the fold. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to have to leave it drying just like that. Yeah. No. Put it down. Yeah, so I think that's cute. Just a quick, you know, it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. I do like the colors, and I like the fact that I used up scraps that were on my desk. Like I was, you know, it gets it used, and it's art, and it's freedom, and it doesn't have to make sense. It just has to be pretty. It's just pretty. I like it. Let me know. Use up some of your scraps and let me know what you've come up with. The information is in the description box of the video to connect with me on all the social medias. Leave me a comment, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I had a good time, and I hope that those of you that are following along, and if you're just happening upon this video, this is number 5. So follow along, come along with me. This is gonna be this is a fun project. I'm hoping to get as many videos in this Chronicles series for this year as possible. We have a long way to go yet, so see you there, and next time. Yeah, bye.